The theme, as she noted, is we beat as one. And the intended message is connection. We're all connected to the land, the animals, the Creator, their communities, our elders, our ancestors, and with each other. We are stronger together than alone. By working together, we can overcome many of life's challenges. Taking precautions against the COVID-19 pandemic, overcoming homelessness and addiction, mental health support for those healing from trauma, justice for our loved ones, ones who did not come home from residential school, and those who are otherwise missing. Supporting the survivors of Tachick, keeping our community safe from wildfires, improving our health care and culturally appropriate childcare and family services, standing up for Indigenous equality at every opportunity. And I thank all the staff that I can see and all of those working from home, as Chief Lewin mentioned, because it's not only the staff and the board, but it's all of us doing our part together. Together, we will meet these challenges head on and work towards the solutions. We hope you feel stronger, prouder, and more energized by the end of our AGA. And now, I'd like to invite you to give us a warm welcome for Carrick Sekani Family Services Chief Executive Officer, Warner Adam. To the middle.
Hadi, Sacho, lately, Deni Masai Habadas Nilje, Nabakaya, the Atan by Yitzaltik. Zanawat out 31 years, the Atan is Nilkak, no Neudekelnik. The child welfare, health services, aidins and by Yesdeltik. Like the date COVID-19, Yasni, Awe, no Tadinins at Awe, Tapi at end, these tie by Yitzaltik will be on, and Zanawat, the no Kaya saw Nino deadly, one Jane, let's all deal. First, I'd like to thank the Lake Lady people on whose territory that we are conducting this business. Over the next few hours, we will give a brief presentation on the work that we have completed at Carrick Sekani Family Services since our last AGA. We will touch on some important issues in health, particularly the impact of the COVID-19 within our communities, and we'll have a panel that will provide some insight with respect to the importance of getting vaccinated in all of our communities and in all age groups. So we'll have our own First Nations physicians and the famous Dr. John presenting some evidence, as well as Sandra Isaac, who will do a brief historical overview on the impacts of different viruses that plagued many of our communities and worldwide. So needless to say that we are certainly in an unprecedented time with COVID-19 that has impacted our communities almost 2 years ago, I believe. And much has changed in the manner in which we interact with each other as human beings, as organizations, and as communities. Despite the precautions, the COVID-19 Delta variant is alive and well in our communities. And just over the past week, we've lost several members from different parts of our nations due to complications related to COVID-19, the Delta variant. Also important to mention, on the news I've heard that there is a Delta 19 plus that is happening in Europe, in London. So we need to be very cognizant and continue to be vigilant and follow the advice of the provincial health officer with respect to minimizing the impacts of this, the virus. So hopefully the panel would provide some insight and ensure that people get the correct information rather than relying on Dr. Google. I believe that it's really important that we take heed to the scientific evidence as provided worldwide by many of our medical practitioners. So it's not only Canada, but it's the United Nations that really led the fight with respect to this variant. So despite the fact that we had issues with respect to how we conduct business, Carrick-Sekani Family Services continues to be innovative through using technology, but also maintaining safety precautions and moving forward with the most important initiatives that we continue to work on. One of which is because Carrick-Sekani grew quite substantially within the last 5 years, it was important for me to conduct an organizational review, looking at our structure, our policy, and our governance interaction. Out of that evaluation, we have 61 recommendations to improve the organization moving forward into the next 30 years. For instance, our staffing grew by 800%. Our funding grew by 500% within the last 4 years, and that's quite significant. It's quite a lot of work, and which would require us to recalibrate in terms of how we do business at CSFS. Many of those recommendations will be implemented, if not already, within the next 18 months. Other initiatives that are important is to revisit our strategic plan to make sure that they're aligned with the needs of our communities, but also the need of the organization. Much has changed over 31 years with new technology, new ways of doing business. Carrick-Sekani is ready and poised for the next 31 years. One of the other important issue and impact in our community is the toxic drug opioid overdose that we've been experiencing during this pandemic. And we have been worked very hard to ensure that government understands the importance of addressing the opioid crisis at the same time as addressing COVID, because they're basically interrelated as it affects and impacts many Indigenous people. More so, for example, the opioid crisis has taken 6% deaths related to Indigenous people. So all the deaths regarding opioid, 6% are Indigenous people, while our population is approximately 4%. Hence, looking back, the elders 30 years ago, their passion was to ensure that we had a healing center / treatment center so that we could provide cultural appropriate healing services along with Western modalities. While 31 years, we still are at the negotiating table with government to fund a comprehensive healing facility within Carrick-Sekani territory. And if you look at the statistics, our region in Carrick-Sekani territory has no culturally appropriate treatment centers. We have treatment centers all around us, but none within our specific territory. So hopefully in 2 years, we will be opening the doors of a new healing center at Tachick Lake in the territory of the Saikas First Nations. So all the background information is in my kit. The Comprehensive Healing Center price tag is approximately $16 million, and so far we're $11 million short. So we'll continue to negotiate, as I said earlier, with government to make that a reality. The other significant project that Mary will touch on later on is the Child and Family Services Jurisdiction Project. Many of us know that the Government of Canada introduced a bill, C-92, which provides us the pathway to regain control over child welfare, protective services, preventative services, and community development. So it's quite a major feat that over the past 30 years, we've finally convinced the ear of both governments that the best way to handle programs and services, and as Chief Lewin said, rebuilding our communities begins with us, and it begins with our culture, because anything else will just repeat the last 150 years of colonial policy. We've also undertaken an evaluation of our health transfer services, which Dr. Travis Hollick will speak to later on, and that provides us That will provide us with new ways and ideas of delivering health services. And looking back the last 10 years, I think the health services has really increased in a manner that we have now physicians attending our communities. And we have approximately 12 physicians on call at any time, dealing with general practice to specialization, using technology again. So again, thank the Lheidli Dene people, thank the board of directors, and thank the staff for the work that they have contributed to the success of CSFS. Ms. Haicho.
Thank you, Warner.
There is a question in the chat box about a quorum of chiefs for the assembly by Chief Mueller from SICAS. Carrick Sekani Family Services is different as an organization. It has its own constitution, bylaws, and policies. So at the AGAs, we do not need a quorum of chiefs, and the governors are board of directors. And this forum is not a decision-making forum per se, but a process to provide reports to general membership. So hopefully that answers the question.